From pickup trucks to luxury cars, there have been some serious manual transmission design failures over the years, plagued with everything from recalls for sudden accelerations and exploding gears, to transmissions locking up and engines exploding. It can feel like there are too many components in a manual transmission that can go wrong, but of all the issues you can run into, having a doomed manual transmission is perhaps one of the worst. It doesn't matter if it's a 5-speed or 6-speed manual. Eventually, a major component's going to grenade and leave you stranded. And while most cars have 100,000 miles on their odometer before troubles start, certain manual transmissions can suffer from birth defects right from the get-go. Whether it's due to poor engineering, materials, assembly techniques, or any combination of the three, there are several fatally flawed manual transmissions that you should avoid at all costs. Luckily for you, you clicked on this video, because today you're going to learn about the 10 worst manual transmissions of all time. The Jeep Wrangler. Jeeps have a reputation for being tough, gritty off-road vehicles, but the Wrangler is one of the most dangerous cars on the road, with its main issue being its defective manual transmission. Earlier this year, Jeep recalled certain 2018 through 2020 Jeep Wrangler SUVs and 2020 Jeep Gladiator pickup trucks equipped with manual transmissions due to the fact that they may overheat and pose an increased fire risk. This fatal flaw comes from the clutch pressure plate, the mechanism that transfers engine torque to the transmission. The clutch pressure transmission plate would overheat due to friction and causing the transmission case to crack. When the case fractures, heated debris contacts ignition sources on the vehicle, starting a fire and often causing a fatal explosion. Not to mention that a damaged pressure plate would lead to a loss of propulsion and create road debris. Victims would often smell a distinct burning smell emanating from the clutch, and experience the clutch pedal to move further than usual, right before the pressure plate explodes. Owners were notified about the recall in late 2020, but by then thousands of lives were already lost. The Ford Mustang. Apparently 3 months ago, Ford agreed to pay millions to owners of the Ford Focus and Ford Fiesta vehicles equipped with a power-shift automatic transmission. The automaker will have to purchase back defective cars for as much as $22,000 apiece, which would end up costing a potentially mammoth $500 million. Now Ford is in trouble with another transmission, and this time it's not even an automatic. A new class action lawsuit from 2011 through 2020 Mustang owners will seek legal action against the company for the sports car's 6-speed manual gearbox. According to the lawsuit, the transmission slips, jerks, engages harshly, clashes gears, suffers premature wear, and eventually fails. Ford previously used quality American-made transmissions in older Mustangs, but switched to off-brand substandard Chinese transmissions to save money, a decision that proved to be a mistake of epic proportions. These defective Chinese manual transmissions are designed for smaller vehicles with less horsepower. When used in a high-horsepower Mustang, the transmission synchronizers failed, often resulting in a total loss of control at high speeds. Furthermore, customers claim that when they returned to dealerships to have the problem fixed, the faulty manual transmissions were replaced with parts that were just as defective, or if not more defective than the original components. Ford was aware of its defective manual transmissions as far back as 2010, yet the automaker actively concealed the transmission defect and failed to disclose it to customers. Instead, Ford issued 7 confidential service bulletins to dealerships describing shifting issues and other defects. Leaked corporate emails unveiled that Ford received 364 complaints about shifting into gear while driving, particularly in cold weather. The class action lawsuit is currently seeking $5 million in damages. The Dodge Dart. The Dodge Dart was manufactured from 1959 to 1976 and was later reintroduced in 2013 after the last Dodge Dart sedan, the Neon, was discontinued in 2005. However, the production of Dodge Dart vehicles has been the subject of widespread powertrain-related complaints, particularly with regards to the manual transmission. Some of these issues are regarding the sluggish acceleration, unstable braking system, and transmission troubles amongst a host of other defects. One widespread defect of the Dodge Dart has been shifting problems with its manual transmission. In fact, in 2019, Dodge recalled approximately 298,000 2013 through 2016 models, after receiving countless complaints regarding multiple defects, particularly a significant defect with the transmission shifter cable. A large number of Dodge Dart users experienced unexpected transmission failure and a complete stoppage of the system. A user of the Dodge Dart SXT claimed that he noticed his car jump out of gear multiple times, once on the freeway and once another time on the access road. At first, he thought he did something, but then he realized it was a mini defective transmission. The car would shift but would never seem to go into gear. In the end, he found himself stranded on the side of the road. The person that came out to tow the vehicle said the transmission linkage was broken. Later, his blower motor went out, then his alternator, and ultimately his transmission. The Volvo C30. The first generation Volvo C30 was manufactured from 2006 to 2013. This trendy hatchback features a flashing brake light system, safety cameras, advanced pedestrian protection, and much more. Although this stylish import is highly praised, its manual transmission was problematic to say the least. Cars equipped with the optimal 6-speed manual transmission often experience trouble with the gear shift. This defect stemmed from the stud assembly on the gear shift that wasn't tightened to the correct specification during assembly. Because of the improper torque, the gear shift cable and/or stud assembly would come loose, effectively disconnecting the gear shift from the transmission and making it impossible for the driver to shift into or out of gear. When the defective gear shift becomes disconnected while driving, it often increases the chance of a fatal accident. The Aston Martin VANTAGE. When you think of luxury, elegance, and power in the automotive industry, very few vehicle brands come to mind. This iconic British manufacturer is known for the exceptional quality in their vehicles, and drivers all over the world have noticed. However, just like any car on the market today, Aston Martins run into their own problems that are often unique to them alone. For instance, while manual transmission failure inevitably occurs in some cars, Aston Martins have a long troubling history of terrible manual transmissions in certain models. Aston Martin developed the concept of the Sport Shift manual transmission over a decade ago, and they were developed for a good reason, to make the car design more efficient and powerful for their drivers. Unfortunately, this manual transmission is known for premature failure, and is widely accepted as one of the worst manual transmissions known to man. The V8 Vantage Sport Shift transmission from 2010 to 2013 were most affected, so much that the company issued a total global recall. Drivers reported that the car's transmission would stall, and or go into limp mode. It was later discovered that the cars had recently undergone software updates, which included modifications to the SportShift manual transmission system. While the updates themselves were not the problem, the technicians who performed the updates failed to properly reprogram the clutch to work with the new update, leading to stalling and a significant loss of power. Aston Martin made it a point to fix the problem, but countless drivers still encounter the issue today. Mini Cooper. The Mini Cooper has a tendency to polarize opinions. On one side, there's a strong enthusiast base that absolutely loves the car to no end. It has great handling, a fun look, and has been America's most popular sporty small car. The bad news is its reliability, particularly its manual transmission, which was a mechanical failure of epic proportions. Early clutch failure was not uncommon in the first and second generations. The early failure can occur in both the 5-speed and 6-speed models, and can fail in under 10,000 miles. The 5-speed manual from the first generation Mini was also a terrible design and had a nasty habit of failing prematurely, and there's also no amount of maintenance that can prevent it from failing. It was simply poorly designed. Numerous customers have had up to 5 transmissions replaced before the 70,000 mile mark. Other Mini Cooper owners have experienced the gear selector going completely loose when shifting the car into reverse, problems shifting the car out of reverse, and the gear selector locking up completely. Furthermore, the manual transmission shift cable may detach from the shift mechanism, preventing the driver from selecting and shifting gears, resulting in a fatal accident. The Fiat 500. Speaking of all the issues with Chrysler products, its infamous partner Fiat isn't too far behind in the department of mechanical failures. Since the 500 is considered to be the problem child of the Fiat family, contrary to what many buyers seem to believe, the Fiat 500 has had a number of issues, but one of the most frustrating is its manual transmission. In 2016, it was discovered that on certain vehicles equipped with a manual transmission, clutch diaphragm springs may crack or become damaged, which could result in the driver being unable to shift gears, or potentially result in engine failure at high speeds. Depending on traffic conditions and the driver's reactions, these issues could increase the risk of a crash. Other common problems include clicking when reversing and when shifting into first gear, harsh downshifting at slow speeds, erratic shifting, pressure plate failure, rear main seal leaks, transmission lights coming on for no apparent reason, and a shifter that simply won't go into gear. There are plenty of previous owners who have traded in this car with less than 10,000 miles on the odometer, simply because they wanted to rid themselves of a growing liability. The Ford Focus. Before Ford eliminated all sedans from its lineup, the Ford Focus has long established itself as one of the go-to small American four-door cars. Today, the only way you'll be able to buy one is from a used car lot, but doing so would be a mistake of epic proportions. Prior to considering a purchase, you should know that the Focus has encountered numerous issues, none of which have been as major as its defective manual transmission. A lot of users have complained about the fact that they have to replace the clutch from time to time. There's also the issue of lag when shifting the gears, which can become cumbersome in the long run. But the biggest issue occurred in 2017, when Ford recalled over 64,000 2013 and 2017 model year Ford Focus and Ford Focus RS vehicles, with manual transmissions and rear hatchbacks. In these vehicles, the rear hatchback can be unlocked and unlatched with a single press of the interior latch release when the vehicle is traveling over 4 miles per hour. The latch release button is located on the left side of the steering column. Federal safety standards require 2 separate actions to unlock the door and operate the interior latch release control mechanism. Well guys, those are the worst manual transmissions of all time. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Also, if you like what you see at the channel, subscribe and put post notifications on. You could also follow the channel on Instagram and Modern Muscle YT. Also, if you guys like the channel, want to support it more, want exclusive content, go to patreon.com/modernmuscle and be a patron. I'm Jeff from Modern Muscle, and I'll see ya next time.